Hey everybody, it's Commander Clyde. Welcome back to another patch notes review video. Today we're looking at the Sands and Skies update notes, latest update for Smite PC. The big discussion here is the release of Set and Horus. Of course, disclaimer beforehand, this is just a review video. There's not going to be any gameplay here. I will try to get gameplay, dual gameplay of Horus and Set in the near future, if possible. PTS is, of course, not working right now. It works like immediately after they do the notes show on Twitch. So unfortunately for me, I'm not able to get on that at that time and do this. So gameplay videos are going to be a little bit delayed. I should probably stay more up to date with updates so I know when this stuff is coming and do it. Anyway, we will talk quickly about their abilities. Reading is obviously not as cool as, actually playing the gods, but it's what we got for now. Anyway, we start with Horus. It's his little hawk face here. The rightful heir to the throne of Egypt. And first off is his passive. Each time Horus is damaged by an enemy god, Horus gains a stack of Resolute. If Set is the god damaging Horus, Horus gains 2 stacks. Each stack increases Horus's protections and CCR. Resolute stacks to a max count of 10 for 3 seconds. When Resolute fades, Horus is healed based on the amount of stacks. Protections per stack, 1.5. CCR per stack, 1.5%. Heal per stack, 2 plus 0.75 per level. Let me see. If I quickly do math, that should work out to 15 at level 20. I will double check that. Wait, no, it's 10 stacks, right? Wait, no, this is per stack. Okay, right. Times 20, 15, so 17 per stack. 10, 170 health. That's not a huge amount, which is good. Something like this you could easily break. Cool protection. Does it happen to mention what class he is right here? No. Yeah, I could have done that. I'm still not sure if he's a warrior or guardian. Probably warrior, but they didn't explain that very well in the note show. Anyway, ability 1, updraft. Horus uses his wings to create an updraft around himself, knocking nearby enemies into the air. Using the currents from the updraft, Horus's next basic attack within 5 seconds will create a gust of wind that travels forward, damaging enemies and slowing them for 2.5 seconds. Enemies that are knocked up when hit take bonus damage. Damage 50 up to 230 plus 60%. Gust damage 14 to 50 plus 100% of your basic attack damage. Gust bonus damage is 1.5 times while enemies are knocked up. Gust slows 25% and costs 55 to 75. Cooldown 18 down to 14. Well, there's good synergy here with other gods with the knock-up. As we'll get to later, he does have a knock-up himself that he can use, although it's short range. So using this in synergy with other gods would be a lot more beneficial. Anyway, Fractured. Horus dashes forward a short distance, ready to strike with his weapon. If Horus Right, so if you just hit the ability and then the basic attack does the gust thing. So you stand, so this does both. I thought that was separate abilities. Okay. So yeah, the first thing is you hit the ability, it does the knock up, then you get the basic attack, which you can use while they're knocked up and get bonus damage. And by the way, this goes through minions, I believe. The charge and basic attack he gets, or the gust of wind on the basic attack he gets, is ranged and it goes through minions, I believe, while damaging. Wait. Fracture. Horus dashes forward a short distance, ready to strike with his weapon. If Horus hits a god, he stops and stuns the god for 1.25 seconds. He will then wind up a heavy cleave. Enemies hit have their protections reduced for 3 seconds. So here's the thing you can do. You dash, stun, hit the cleave, use the one, knock up, gust dash, and then if you need to, you can dash out. With this fine ability here, Horus rushes to the aid of an ally. After selecting an ally, Horus will fly to their location before descending. Upon landing, the selected ally and all nearby allies have their health restored and gain protections for 3 seconds. Heal 50 up to 250 plus 10% of your physical power. Okay, so he's a warrior because it says physical power. Here, protection buff 10 to 30, cost 65, cooldown 16 seconds. I didn't talk about the numbers on this, so anyway, the dash damage 70 to 170 plus 30%. Cleave damage 60 to 190 plus 50%. Protection reduction 10 to up to 30, cost 55 up to 75, cooldown constant 16 seconds. And then the big fun ability we're all excited to see, To the Skies. Horus sends a mirror image of himself into the sky that scouts for a location to fly to. Upon selecting a ground location, Horus will begin to channel for 2 seconds. Any ally near Horus after these 2 seconds are flown to the location Horus image shows. Horus and his allies land with such force, enemies take damage and are knocked away from the landing location. Horus and his allies gain a protective shield upon landing. Damage 150 up to 550 plus 80%. Shield 160 up to 480, cost 100, cooldown 100 seconds. Now the way this works, he leaves his actual body is on the ground and targetable during this, so you do have to be careful about where you actually start channeling this, because if you do it in the middle of a fight, well, you'll probably get killed because you can't move during that amount of time while he's channeling it. Now, this is a very odd ability. I mean, it's when you hit or use it on your allies, it is a teleport effect on your allies, so it takes them, teleports them to the landing location of the ultimate. So take from the channel location to the landing location, teleport. Hence, any god that is targetable can be teleported with this. That also includes Ymir while he's ulting, Baron Samedi while he's ulting, probably, because that's kind of the same thing. So you can do some really weird tricks with this. It also works on pets. So if you want to get Tusky somewhere quick and out of range, just have Artemis ult, take him up with Horus, and Tusky's wherever you want him to be. Hilarious thing. And when you say pets, it's all pets. That includes Bastet cats, Vulcan turret, Bakasura minions, Calder, etc. You get the point. It's a very weird ability, very strange. It'll be fun to see how this gets used. And recolor. But we're not about that right now. We're about Set, the Usurper, and his passive, Relentless. Each time Set damages an enemy, Set gains a stack of Relentless. If Horus is the enemy damage, Set gains 2 stacks. Each stack increases Set's attack speed. Relentless stacks to a max count of 10 for 3 seconds while Kingslayer is active. Relentless has no maximum stack count. We'll get this Kingslayer later. Attack speed per stack, 2.5%. And here is ability 1, Skewer. Set amasses his hatred, throwing it forward and damaging enemies caught in its path. Set spawns. We'll get down to the spawns in a minute. Set's spawns are commanded when Set fires this attack dashing towards a location Set determines. That will be with a second reticle that appears on the ground when you start targeting this ability. Enemies hit by either skewer or a spawn's dash take damage and are slowed for 3 seconds. Any dash after the first will deal 40% damage. Damage 70 up to 230 plus 80% of your physical power. Spawn damage when they are on the ground dashing 60 up to 180 plus 80% of your physical power. Slow 25%, dash range 60 feet, cost 40 up to 60, cooldown 7 seconds. And now the secondary part, spawn a Set. Set conjures a spawn of himself made of sand. These spawns will stand where summoned and attack nearby enemies. Set can have up to 2 charges of this ability, allowing him to conjure spawns in quick succession. Set can interact with these spawns with his other abilities, committing them to attack or teleporting to them. Set can only have 8 spawns at any given time. Damage 20 plus 25% of your physical power. Attack range 12 feet. That's their basic damage, I believe. Duration 8 to 12, up to 12 seconds. Cost 30, cooldown 13 down to 11 seconds. And so you spawn these guys on the ground, and when you have this active, this is a line skill shot, but there's also a second reticle within the ability, which you can control by moving your mouse up and down to move it closer to you or move it further away from you. The spawns will dash towards that reticle and go through anything in that path and deal damage that we see up here. It's something you kind of have to see, but I tried my best to explain that. Anyway, Sandstorm. Set conjures a sandstorm around him, protecting him from physical damage and causing him to be immune to slows. Enemies near Set are damaged every 0.4 seconds for 6 seconds and have their vision obscured by the sands. Not blind, unfortunately. Could have been a blind. Really disappointing. Still only have 2 blinds in the game. But that's fine. If Set is targeting a spawn with this ability, when this ability is cast, he will immediately teleport to the spawn. Otherwise, he can reactivate this ability to teleport. Set can only teleport once per sandstorm. Damage 8 up to 24 per tick plus 7% of your physical power. Physical damage reduction 15%. Teleport range 65 feet. Costs 50 up to 70. Cooldown 16 seconds. So here is the plan for, the idea for how you use this character. You spawn, you use the 2, spawn a Set, you spawn some sets. You use the dash thing, or the skewer here, to make them dash forward, and then you use Sandstorm on the Set that you may dash forward towards your opponent, teleport to it, and then you can get in melee range and start whacking them. Basic idea of how you can engage with these abilities and synergize with all of them. And then we get to Kingslayer. Set enrages, channeling his rage towards his enemies. Each time Set damages a god, they gain a mark of Set. At 4 marks, the target erupts. Enemies take a burst of damage while Set becomes empowered, restoring health and immediately gaining a charge of spawn of Set. Excess charges are immediately consumed, causing a spawn to appear near Set. You are not limited by the number of charges of Set you get during this. So you can get up to the 8 spawn limit very quickly by basic attacking while Kingslayer's active. You get that, and then you get the big skewer with 8 targets hitting you at once. Now remember, any dash after the first one will deal 40% of the total damage, so they don't deal that completely ridiculous amount 8 times. This is the first dash, and then it'll be 40% of that for the subsequent ones, which is still a lot of damage. So, and this also, the damage 25 up to 85 plus 25% of your physical power. Heal 30 up to 90 plus 20% of your physical power duration. 12 seconds. Cost 80 up to 100. Cooldown 90 seconds. Now remember what we said about the passive over here. Relentless has no maximum stat count while Kingslayer is active. That means when you basic attack while Kingslayer is active, your attack speed will continue to increase beyond the normal stat cap, which means you build Silver Branch and stuff on this character, and then you pop Kingslayer on somebody, and then you just go nuts because it'll make your power completely silly since you have no maximum. You have no cap, no maximum stat count, and you can just keep increasing it beyond the cap. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy. Some skins down here. These are always better to see in game. These are fun. Kind of like got a Doctor Strange thing happening here with this guy. That's a continuation of another theme. Kind of fits with that, with the last RDO skin they did. Got like a Red Riding Hood vibe here, and then turn into big wolf monster thing. Yeah. Cool concept down here. This is fun. That's about all I comment on skins, though. I don't spend any time on these, so. Yeah. Updated release schedule, April 30th, Horus and Set release, Battle for Olympus #1. Oh boy. Some new lore stuff. 2nd week of May, Fairy Tail Test. 3rd week of May, Battle for Olympus #2. 4th week, GB Bonanza Chest. May 24th, new free Twitch Prime loot. Oh boy. Okay, so getting into this, Set and Horus are most of this patch. So there's not going to be a whole lot now after this, but I'm going to go through it, see what's changed. More importantly, see if Xing Qian has been fixed and he'll be put back into the game. He's currently not available. Anyway, bug fixes, God's Discordia, erratic behavior, cooldown reduction changed to decrease. To separately define it from cooldown reduction, because it's not cooldown reduction. You're just flatly decreasing the amount of time on the cooldown. Fenrir Unchained fixed minor issue with Chompy Chibi where his tongue would stretch during the build. Okay. Hera added missing pros on tooltip, high area damage, high crowd control. Izanami basic attack fixed an issue where her first basic attack would gain the benefit of Iqbal. What? Wait, that's wrong? Oh. Okay. I thought she double procced auto attack item effects on her autos. I guess they don't want to do that, but just wanted to do that, but specifically with Iqbal. Why not just fix that with every item? Because I don't think that's how it is. Anyway, Merlin, fixed cooldown timer, sometimes quickly refreshing after swapping stance while abilities are on cooldown. Fixed damage on Blizzard, fixed damage on applying to camp minions if ability deployed before spawn. Vulcan, Inferno Cannon, fixed camp minions not animating on death if killed by turret. Items, fixed not being able to sell Evolved Attacker's Blessing. Fixed Soul Reaver tooltip, not mentioning the 50% reduced damage on follow-up hits. I've never had this problem. Fixed Stone of Binding tooltip, not mentioning duration. Fixed Phantom Veil upgrade, not having highlight for what changed in the upgrade in its tooltip. UI fixed an issue where MMR was being rounded to the nearest interval of 25. Leaderboards will still display values in intervals of 25. We plan to fix this in future releases. Fixture rewards still displaying split 1 instead of split 2. Fixture displayed rank appearing to decrease and repeatedly viewing the same leaderboard. Fix the 2015 ranked loading frames so that it now displays properly. Spectator fixed fire giant and gold fury timer sometimes not displaying properly. Whatever. This is all boring. Project Olympus. Roll queue priority points no longer reset when you read log. Ranked and normal conquests no longer share the same pool of priority points. Ranked matchmaking rating gains and losses now properly displayed at the end of match lobby. Co-op versus AI, more behaviors and AI improvements have been added despite some bots. Fixes to behavior around towers. Fixed an issue where bots thought allied towers or enemy towers. Fixed an issue that ranged guns will not attack enemies near towers even if in range. Prioritizing attacking enemy towers in range versus gods/minions. Decreased instances where bots will thrash, appear to stand still or jitter because they can't decide what to do. Bots will occasionally attack jungle camps. And note what's missing here, server updates. Still nothing has been done, and we will continue to enjoy server instability for no reason. I like having 130 ping. Okay. Anyway, Xingqian fixed everything, I guess. Got all this crap. Hook Slam added new FX to indicate the pre-fire of this ability. This gives players better indication as to when and where they will hit targets. Fixed added new FX to indicate the hit area of the cone part of this ability. This affects all skins. Decrease the height of the animation of this ability while keeping the timings the same. This should help clarify that Xingqian is still in play space and hittable when at the apex of this ability. Fixed a bug with the first rank of this ability had a shorter range than intended. Sky Cutting X. This ability now functions as a leap and not like a dash. This means Xingqian has immunity frames immediately after it leaves the ground during the leap and reaches back to the ground. This also means that Xingqian can now leap over walls with this ability. Yes! I will clap for that one. Thank you, Harris, for making that ability not completely useless in pretty much any situation. I mean, it was always like a leap and not a dash. He was clearly jumping. It's like, okay. And you could do anything except run at people with it, which is kind of boring based on how it works. And the ability was just not that good in that case because it didn't... All it gave you was the protection, but you generally were just kind of a sitting duck if anyone could read where you were jumping with it. But now you get iframes, so that's fun. This will make him definitely more viable. Also the fact he can jump over walls. That's actually huge. Mixed occurrences where this ability would only get one charge or get extra charges past two. Thank you. This ability should now always fire up to 2 times instead of giving you one that actually does nothing and then the third one does damage. I don't know. It was a weird bug. Fixed the bug where Xingqian was able to refire his leap on respawning. Fixed the bug where the player was forced to refire the leap in order to put the ability on cooldown. Fixed a bug where the second leap would not animate correctly and would cause the player to slide. Fixed occurrences where the landing of this ability would not register properly. This should remove the likelihood where Xingqian is unable to leap a second time after being crowd controlled during the first ability fire. This should also remove the likelihood of Xingqian returning to the start position or tweening to his end position in the middle of a leap. Fixed a bug where leaping into a cripple field would cause you to remain in the refire state permanently. Oops. Whirlwind of Rage and Steel. A clarified tooltip regarding the number of hits for this ability. This ability was sometimes hitting for more than intended. You're supposed to hit 5 times, right? I think. Anyway, game mode's Assault. They nerfed the healing orbs, or vital orbs as they call them. Decreased potion restoration, 15% instant health and mana to 10%. Increased potion respawn time from 1 minute to 2 minutes. So they're not there all the time. Be tactical. Iqbal. See, bridge item, it ended up being probably a lot more impactful early than they expected. Cost has been increased to 2,600. So you don't just get cheap, a bunch of cheap power that just lets you win lane. Runeforged Hammer. Increased cost from 2,300 to 2,400. Decreased physical power from 55 to 50. Costs more, less power. Good nerf. People were buying this in weird situations that were making it too strong. Especially with hunters. So you don't want it as much. Blackmore Hammer, decrease health from 450 to 350. That's a good change. Had too many stats anyway. Hasten Katana, increase cost to 2200 from 2200 to 2300. Decreased attack speed from 25% to 20%. More gold, less benefit for those gods that rely on it constantly. Like Boxer, obviously. That'll bring him down a little. He'll bring down Mercury a little too. A few other junglers, but not a big change. Good change. Gods, Bastet, Declaw added a circle targeter element to the ability target to convey this ability's area of effect when it hits an enemy. Oh, very cool. Now you can see what it's going to hit on the end. If you have multiple targets. Ganesha, buff duration increased from 3 seconds to 4 seconds on turn of fate. Ohm now provides 20 up to 60 magical protections as well as physical while handling. Remove obstacles, damage increase from 75 to 255 up to 90 to 270. Just bringing up Ganesh a little bit because he's feeling less impactful, underplayed. People aren't really finding use for him, so I'll give him some big bursts, big buffs, make him a little more desirable. This is a big deal. Adding the magical protection, the protections like that makes him useful when more useful when he rotates to mid, because now he can give you magical protection. Hu Yi is no longer rooted and can move his camera freely while firing this ability. So you keep running forward while you're firing it? That's interesting. Yeah, that was a weird thing with it. I mean, it made sense, but that was kind of inconsistent, I think, with other hunters' abilities. Because, I mean, Anhur can do his while he's moving, so it would make sense to not root Hu Yi while he's using Sunbreaker. Izanami being nerfed because Iqbal changes and stuff kind of made her ridiculous. Decrease the threshold of missing health to gain a stack from 15% to 10%. This effect still caps at 20% physical penetration, but Izanami reaches the cap at 50% HP now instead of 25% HP. Oh wait, no, this is a buff. Why? Conquest liability has still been quite low. I don't know how I feel about that, honestly. You don't want to make her too strong. Change slow duration to be 3 seconds at all ranks. Lower travel time from 0.6 to 0.5 seconds. Remove the brief self-route at the end of the leap. I mean, making her more mobile for Conquest, that's fair. I'll take that one. I don't know about the rest of these, because doesn't that mean she gets her passive more often? I don't know if I like that. Anyway, Yormy boy. Increase basic attack damage from 9.6 plus to 11.2 plus 0.96 per what? What the hell is this? You people are insane. You can't buff him that much. He's going to have the best early game of any Guardian if you're going to do this crap. What are you doing? Smite. Excuse me, guys, while I do some numbers here. Okay, so we have 9.6. Let me do 0.64 times 20, 12.8 plus 9.6. That's base 22.4 total. Base. At level 20, that's without items, by the way. So we do 0.96 times 20 plus 11.2 is 30.4. Okay. It isn't a lot. It doesn't seem like a lot at first, but when you add up items onto it, that could end up being quite a bit. Makes his early a lot better, especially if you're going Hunter's Blessing. Although you only do that in Duel. Let me point that out. Don't do that in other modes unless maybe you're trying to be damage Orm and Joust. That's fine. Don't do this. Don't do that most of the time. I mean, when you're not playing him like that, this change is fine because it's not totally broken. It's still not totally broken, but anyway. Venom's Hates, consuming clouds with abilities, now lowers the cloud. Words now lowers the cloud duration to 8 seconds instead of 5 seconds. Oh, you get clouds longer. Dude, sick. Consuming Bellow, the big change. Remove damage mitigations while channeling. We don't care. That's fine. This ability no longer goes on cooldown if interrupted during the channel. This is the change we're talking about. Because if you got stunned while channeling it, the ability was gone, you dealt no damage, and hello, 15-second cooldown or whatever it is. Some insane number like that. And that's just sad to have an ability like that that's that important just be unusable if you get stunned. Because there's other Guardians that have abilities that work like that. Kumbha Carnage 2 doesn't go on cooldown unless he actually hits it. So if he's stunned during the channel, it's fine. He doesn't lose the cooldown. So that's a consistency thing that needed to be fixed. And they did it. This will make this god a lot more fun and less frustrating to play against heavy CC comps. Great. Anyway, King Arthur. They wanted to make Excalibur's Wrath a little more... Well, okay, they're doing... I'll get down to it. They wanted to make it a little bit more manageable. So they got rid of the parts that you can't do anything about, like the true damage. Increase per/slash damage from 10 to 50 to 10 to 70. Increase per/slash true damage from 1.5 to 2%. / true damage now deals physical damage, which means it can be mitigated. Which means he's not a stupid tank killer anymore. You can actually fight him with other warriors and stuff. Decrease final hit damage and AoE from 60 to 360 down to 50 plus 290. So you're not getting that big smack at the end and being dead. It deals less damage. You can mitigate more now. Final hit and AoE true damage now deals physical damage. Overall damage change from 120 to 660 plus 14 up to 22% of HP true damage to 110 up to 700. So it has more base power plus 17 up to 25% of HP physical damage, but it's no longer true damage. It is now physical damage, which can be mitigated. Also, taking less damage on the landing means beads are a lot more useful now, because before you'd still be getting hit for this huge smack plus 22% plus the plus the true damage that is dealt in conjunction with that, and that's a little bit unfair. It's just damage you can do nothing about regardless of what relics you get, and that's a bit unfair, so they changed that. So now there's more counterplay involved. Makes it a lot easier, as I said, for other tanks to fight him. Anyway, Kukulkan Zephyr added a circle targeter element to this ability. Target to convey this ability's area effect when it hits an enemy. Same thing they did with Declaw. And then Zilla Sikkim added a circle targeter element to this ability to convey this ability's area effect when it hits an enemy. Okay, they did this on all these types of abilities, which is nice, and that's going to do it, ladies and gentlemen, for the Sand in Skies update. As I said, I will do my best to get gameplay videos out for both Set and Horus. No promises. I may have to wait until they're released, unfortunately, but hopefully tomorrow the PTS, or later, the PTS will be up and we can get that done. Anyway, leave a comment. Not leave a comment. Like and subscribe if you guys enjoyed the patch notes review. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions about the update or anything else you'd like to add. Check the helpful links down in the description below, and I will see you guys next time for some more Smite. Have a good one.